This supplemental video will walk through all of the components of the workflow which generates public or semi-public links for attachments related to, in this case, an opportunity or any other Salesforce objects. So I'm not really going to talk through all of these, but I will try to explain some of them. And we'll go ahead and start with clicking on the manager within the toolbox and looking at all the resources. So these formulas are used for formatting of the documents, the URLs, the names, and the links that we create. And ultimately what this is doing is substituting out one character for another. It's just kind of one of the intricacies of this whole solution. But you can see that we have a double new lines formula. We have a file expiration date formula. This is something I added after the original video, really just to expire the links after a period of time and not leave them public forever. Single new lines is similar to double new lines. It's just we needed to use them separately. That's why two different ones exist. And then space. Again, this is all for formatting of the contents that we put in the accounting URL field. These are all pretty straightforward. They just relate to the different records that we're interacting with, and these are mostly available for input and output. Public link. File collection, again, you think of these as your arrays. This can have many things inside of them. And now we get into our text templates. These text templates are used in conjunction with the formulas we walked through before. And so this is how we create our double new lines. We have these 3 hyphens on separate lines, and then the formula helps us actually swap those hyphens for new lines. This is just a label, helps us to build a more readable value that we drop into that accounting URL. Same thing with password. Single new line is similar, just 2 hyphens rather than 1. And spacer is just a text, or sorry, just a plus sign. And again, those work with the formulas from up above. These variables are what we would have defined within the workflow. And so we'll just quickly walk through all of these. This is where we're going to store the values from the records that we're interacting with. And I'm pretty sure all of these are just text and available for input and output. Yep. And then the default value is just to help with testing. So that way we can actually run through this workflow and see everything move. We get into a little bit more detailed setup here. This is, again, where we actually build the contents, the formatted contents of what we're going to put in the accounting URL. So we start with the document name, and then we want a new line, and then the link, and another new line, and then the password label, followed by a space, and then the actual password which is created, and then another new line, and this tells us when it's expiring, and the expiration date link. So again, just taking all the components above, putting them together, you can see we're using the add operator, and that helps us build the right output. This is where we actually get the information that we want to use. So this is the content distribution step, and you can see that we're getting one record, and we're using separate resources. And these are all the fields and the values that we map. And we store everything into the content distribution variable. This is one of the get record steps. This is getting the public URL based on the records that we got. Setting the expiration date as well as the password. And this is the step that actually looks up all of the attached files. The loop is pretty simple. And and then this is where we actually update the accounting contract URL with our final formatted results after we loop through all the documents. So hope that helps.